This is a podcast all about Bears. You either cheering for this team or just pulling your hair. I like to take a minute, just sit right back and tell you how I became the #1 Bears fan.
That boy is Benny Hunter.
Cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic. People, this the intro. Sacramento, California, born and raised. And Antelope is where I spend most of my days. Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Before I get this episode started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. Before I continue with this episode, I have to tell you guys about LinkedIn. These days, everyone knows that it can be really hard to find and hire the right candidate for your very small business or any business in general. That's exactly why LinkedIn Jobs made it easier to find people that you want to talk to faster and for free. And Bears fans, I wouldn't lie to you. If I was a boss, I would definitely go to LinkedIn Jobs because I would be able to find the right candidate that would fit my needs of my business. LinkedIn Jobs can help you find the right candidate. And Bears fans, did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? You know what? I can actually use LinkedIn Jobs right now to actually get some help for this podcast. And I know that I would be able to find the right candidate with LinkedIn Jobs. All you have to do is post your job for free at linkedin.com/Wendy. That's linkedin.com/Wendy to post your job for free. So Bears fans, it happened again. Once again, the Chicago Bears drop another heartbreaker to the Green Bay Packers and to our owner, Aaron Rodgers. Once again, in Lambeau Field, we have a first half lead of 27-21. And then from there, Green Bay outscores us in the second half 24-3 to defeat our Chicago Bears 45-30. We scored 3 points in the second half. 3. The funny thing about that is once the first half ended, I looked at my dad and we were just kind of having a good time. You know, it was nice that the Bears were kind of trying to be like game breakers, right? Game wreckers out there. Playing inspired football, had a lot of heart. And he turns to me, he says, you know what? And he was saying this as he was laughing. It wouldn't surprise me if the Chicago Bears only scored 3 points in the second half. And what happened? They scored 3 points. So my dad jinxed it. Don't get out of his life for that. But he jinxed it, and it actually happened. It actually came true, and they only scored 3 points in the second half. Let's talk about the first half real quick, because for one half of football, we were going toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the NFC and probably one of the better teams in the entire NFL. Toe-to-toe. The play calling was creative. We got an extra boost from Jakeem Grant and the special teams. Everything was going well. We put up 24 points. 24 of our 30 points was in the second quarter. So for one half of football, the Chicago Bears actually looked decent. It actually showed us what could be in the future, right? But when you're playing the Green Bay Packers, and when you're playing Aaron Rodgers, you have to be able to play a whole 4 quarters. Not just one half, not just one quarter, a full football game. When you're looking at the stats, Justin Fields, 18 for 33, 224 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Obviously, he threw that pick 6. Bounced back and threw that nice little touchdown slant to Demir Bird where he took it 54 yards. Nice bounce back drive for him. That's the kind of stuff that I like to see. He also had 9 rushes for 74 yards. But the problems with Matt Nagy and his play calling still exist. David Montgomery, 10 carries for 42 yards. Only 10 carries. Doesn't make sense. Look at Darnell Mooney, 1 catch. Allen Robinson came back, only 2 catches. That's been a consistent problem with Matt Nagy's offense, especially this year. Not being able to get our top playmakers involved hurts us. Another thing that hurts us with Matt Nagy is we go into halftime 27-21 up on the Packers. He's talking about, I'm having so much fun. Okay, Matt Nagy, you're having so much fun, but did you make any adjustments? It was a tale of two halves. Obviously, you saw the Packers make those adjustments because Matt LaFleur, Aaron Rodgers, they're good. That's a good quarterback, and that's a really good head coach that makes adjustments. Obviously, Matt Nagy, once again, is not a very good head coach because we didn't make the proper adjustments. He was content being up by 6 points to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. So many things happened. So many things I can call out. One thing I do want to bring up is 4th down by 11, 4th and 2. We're at around midfield. So obviously we would give the Packers the ball right at midfield if we don't get the 4th down. But you're 4-8. You're down by 11 points, and you decide to punt the football. You have nothing to lose in that situation. Sometimes you have to be gutsy. Sometimes you have to play to win. You had nothing to lose. You shouldn't have punted the ball. But this game was definitely a tale of two halves. First half showed us what could be, that we have some pieces to go into next year, right? And maybe be successful with a new head coach, a new play caller. And then in the second half, it showed why Matt Nagy will not be our head coach going into next year. And like I mentioned on all the podcasts, he's not going to get fired mid-season. But this was the nail in the coffin for Matt Nagy and maybe even Ryan Pace. Matt Nagy is 4-9. Will have his first losing season as a Chicago Bears head coach. He's 1-7 overall against Green Bay. This was the nail in the coffin. I know, like myself, as a Bears fan, I know all Bears fans enjoyed that first half because I sure did. It was exciting to see the Bears play passionate football, play with heart. There's no doubt in my mind that this team is still playing for Matt Nagy. But sometimes it takes more than heart to beat a team like the Green Bay Packers with the quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. In the second half, you saw the inconsistencies of the cornerback position, the linebacking position. The defense played all right in the first half, but then got absolutely shredded in the second half. Obviously, once again, Robert Quinn showed up with a sack and a half, putting his total at, I believe, 13 and a half. Obviously, Jalen Johnson did an excellent job on Davante Adams when he was covering him. Obviously, Green Bay made those adjustments and had guys like Xavier Crawford trying to cover Davante Adams. I think Kendall Vildor had to try to cover Davante Adams. They made the proper adjustments. Another thing I want to bring up is Jason Peters went down early in the game. Tevin Jenkins came in. It was exciting to see him. Excited that he's finally healthy. But he definitely played like a rookie. He had a rough night. But that's okay. Because for the rest of the year, I think that's what the Chicago Bears should do. The Chicago Bears should bring up their rookies and let them play. They're now 4-9. They've been out of the playoffs for a couple weeks now. Let your rookies play. See what you got. But now it's time for the Chicago Bears to move forward. And I do think that with Justin Fields, I would say it is another step forward. He looked like a rookie, right? He makes those mistakes. There is some things that he needs to learn, but he will learn by experience and by reps. And I think last night showed that. I like what I saw last night, and I hope you guys did as well. But once again, the Chicago Bears fall to the Green Bay Packers 45-30. And unfortunately, Aaron Rodgers does still own the Chicago Bears. Like always, comment down below in the comment section and let me know how you feel about last night's result. And before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content around the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. And make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, I'll be back for all new Bears podcasts right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.